As we start to look at the creation of this idea of the Middle Ages, we're looking for areas in which we can kind of divide history into pieces. This is one that we look for to find a way to express there's the beginning of something different here. And one thing that we want to talk about now is the Byzantine Empire. This is the old Roman Eastern Empire that you saw up until the time period here of roughly the 6th century. The process, remember, of decay of the Roman Empire had really accelerated in the 5th century as we saw outside invaders take over Rome in 410, and then eventually by 476, the sheer number of outsiders who've taken over the old Roman territory in the West, they don't even bother to name an emperor anymore, and the last Roman emperor, who was a little boy, is sort of dismissed and told to go home. That leaves the Eastern Roman Empire that, as we talked about earlier, remember, is heavily focused on Greek language and culture as part of the Hellenistic tradition it inherited. Also, it is more urban, it has a higher population base, and in many ways it's essentially wealthier and has a longer tradition. This Byzantine Empire in various forms is going to last all the way until the 15th century, when it is finally taken over by Muslim forces in the year 1453. But for now, we want to take a look at Byzantium for a couple of reasons. One, it's going to endure as a Roman empire by itself. It is going to be, over time, a depository. Much of the knowledge and much of the understanding we have of ancient Roman law and of many of the other things regarding the empire are coming from our access of records that came out of the Byzantine tradition. We are also going to be taking a look at a Byzantine empire, that is going to provide lots of information and alphabets and traditions to many of the people of Eastern Europe, so that we can help understand why there is, for example, a different Cyrillic alphabet in places like Russia and in Bulgaria. They both are part of the Christian tradition that later on will spread across Europe, but the tradition they do inherit is not coming from the Western European Christian tradition, it's coming from the Eastern. Now, on this map, we're going to be talking about the Byzantine Empire of the middle of the 7th century, about 650 AD or CE, as we've been talking. And we'll be talking about this mentality of this empire being surrounded by various enemies and its ability to endure. And one of the key elements in understanding that endurance is going to be the history and the career of one of the first major emperors. His name is Justinian. And Justinian is going to be the emperor, one of the last emperors of the Roman Empire of the East, of Byzantium, who is going to make an active effort to continue to create a Western part of the empire. He looks at his ability, military and otherwise, to expand. He has enemies on him on all his sides and all the boundaries of the old Roman Empire, but he believes he can have enough military experience and power to reassert control over the Western part of the old Roman Empire against the invading peoples who have come in. He will make an active effort to do so, but in the process of doing that, will have to raise taxes massively and, of course, expend a massive amount in the war. And there's some doubt within his community of whether he had been successful or not. But he is going to make an active effort to recreate, right? To recreate the old empire from its two pieces and put them back together. He's going to try and do it militarily, and he'll be partially successful, but it's not going to be fully successful. What he also will be famous for is that while he is the emperor in Byzantium, he is going to create a massive military and also a massive architecture program. He and his successors are going to create a fortress city. They're going to create a city with massive palaces, and one of the largest churches in the time, a church called Hagia Sophia, that will be put in place during his lifetime. And it will be, and is still to this day, a standing monument to his power. It is now a mosque in the city of Istanbul, but the central part of the complex was built originally as a church by Justinian, and constantly after him updated and changed by his successors. But here is the symbol, the monument to his power, is that he was able to expand into the western part of the empire, trying to recreate what had come before. He's somewhat successful, but not fully. But he still is the last one who's trying to create that western and eastern link again before the Romans give up on this whole dream of a large united empire. What he will be most famous for also is that in both the Western tradition of the empire and the Eastern, they used to have a large code of law, a significant amount of decrees that had come from the Senate, from the emperors, lots of judicial decisions of various kinds, and they had never been codified and put together in one place. And one of the things that Justinian is going to do is he's going to find a way to put all those things together into centralized collections of books. So one of the things he orders when he first has taken control in 527 is he orders the legal authorities around him to start to put together all the different kinds of laws and proclamations into a series of books that will be available for other scholars and for everyone in government to use. And instead of having all the laws sort of dispersed all over, he's essentially having he's creating a close kind of encyclopedia approach where the people are going to be able to access them all. The vitality and importance of that is this Justinian code, the law of Justinian, is in many ways going to be influential because many European states, as they start to found their own systems of law and justice, are going to be using Justinian's codes as a place to start in how to organize their societies and their laws. So his influence in gathering all the legal materials together are going to be very influential on many European states as they build their systems around it and adopt and adapt it as they move forward. So many of the legal systems as they operate in modern Europe today, a significant number of them owe the origins of how they do their business to the Code of Justinian, which was his work to get all those Roman laws in one place. The other thing to think about with the city is that it is going to be a trade depot. Remember, when Constantine had founded this city, he'd found a little village called Byzantium. He built it up to be his city called Constantinople, and now the empire based there is called Byzantium, right? The Byzantine Empire. And this is going to be the place that's going to still be a trade depot. Much of the trade that goes north and south in the area goes through the city, as well as east and west. It is a trade nexus. It is the place where the traders from many different empires and countries come together to do business. And in the process, the Byzantines profit very handsomely from helping control the trade itself, various import and export taxes, various fees and things assessed. The lifeblood of this empire is its ability to have long distance and short distance trade pass through the city and in the process gather income from it. They're going to be able then to continue to have significant income from their control of the trade and to keep themselves as a trade city. We'll see that, like I said, is an empire that's going to continue to shrink over time, but it still endures until 1453, but not before it has given much of its legacy, law, alphabet, and language and tradition to many places in Eastern Europe. Be sure to take a closer look at the explanation of the Byzantine Empire of the 6th century, and take a look also if there are some practice questions that can help you make sure that you've got that knowledge.